Howdy and aloha, everybody. This is James with Monotalk. I am basically doing the show tonight because I'm starting to see some really, it's not even laughable. It's just terrible. But anyway, the show is about using your words. I use my words to try to fix the planet and save it and all of its inhabitants. Yes, I know it's a broad stroke, but I'm just trying to do something for the kids, and thereafter, and try to save the species and other things to make sure that, there's a world out there. I don't have my glasses, so I'm going to try to read a few things. I just left them in the car. And I'm not going to deal with that. But anyway, so here's what's going on, and I'm just going to kind of show you. We'll just play this real fast. Okay. Here we go. Is that it? There you go.
Have been damaged near Iran's coast. It happened earlier today in the Gulf of Oman, near a hotspot for transporting oil from the Middle East.
Iran's state media released pictures appearing to show the ships on fire. Dozens of sailors aboard the vessels were evacuated. And we know that the U.S. Navy is helping with the situation. So for more on this, we want to bring in CBS News foreign correspondent Imtiaz Tayeb. He's in London. And also CBS News national security correspondent David Martin. David, you were at the Pentagon. Imtiaz, we're going to start with you, though. Can you take us through the latest developments? What do we know so far about what has happened?
Anne-Marie Gladwell, a fast-moving story here, but let's start at the very beginning. In the early hours of this morning, a distress signal was sent from a vessel after it was, in the words of its operator, shelled at least twice, setting fire to the engine room, forcing its crew to abandon ship. We also learned that around 45 minutes later, a second ship, a Norwegian ship, was struck at least 3 times fairly quickly with what's been described as torpedoes. Now, that ship is said to be adrift and on fire. Its crew also had to abandon ship. We understand that the U.S. Fifth Fleet, which is based in nearby Bahrain, received the 2 distress signals. We heard from the commander saying that they did indeed receive those signals, but he didn't say how the vessels were attacked or who may have been behind it. But we do know that the USS Bainbridge was able to pick up around 21 crewmen.
Okay. So that's where we need to stop. And let me go ahead and go here, and then I'll show you what's really going on. So they don't know who, it's fucking happening again, people. It's fucking happening. And it's so in your face, blatant, fucking manufactured war once again. And it just starts with a couple of oil wells, or it's going to piss off some investors. Basically, if you read my title of this show, it's real simple. Again, mainstream media spews manufactured consent for war. Number 235. That's my 235th show, I guess. But let me just go back, see if there's the one other. All right, here we go. So let me show you this one. This is, so it always starts off, something happens, don't know what's going on, and the next thing you know, the fucking mainstream media starts bringing on politicians, generals, and all these specialists and these people that start throwing out narratives and talking points and start, blaming people or countries. In this particular case, it's Iran. Go figure.
Adrift and on fire in the Gulf of Oman, one of the 2 tankers at the center of the latest war of words between the US and Iran. The crew abandoned the Norwegian-registered ship after an explosion, possibly caused by a magnetic mine. A second vessel, Japanese-owned, was hit by a suspected torpedo.
Suspected torpedo. Okay? Keep that in mind. Suspected torpedo.
Its crew were also rescued. The US Secretary of State said the Iranians were responsible for the two attacks and several others carried out in recent weeks.
The Iranians. There you go. Bada bing, bada boom. It's the same fucking thing over and fucking over and fucking over. It's just and sadly, mainstream media fans, they're fans. These, God, I just, so naive, so ignorant, and just so easily swayed or persuaded or conned into these wars. And it's just happened over and over and over again. And it's ridiculous. I mean, everybody knows that war is a racket. I mean, if you don't know war is a racket, because Smedley Butler, this decorated war hero became, Major General, Admiral, whatever, basically said, war is a racket. It's for profit. It has nothing to do with protecting people. It's for profit. It's always been for profit. This is after what he, as high as he was in the military branches, he's watching this unfold. He's seeing the collusion. He's seeing the corruption. He's watching the deals, the contracts. He's seeing all these giant corporations just making millions or hundreds of thousands of dollars back then, which is close to billions of dollars today. But I mean, if you look at what's going on here, you've got, the Revolutionary War, 1775, the war. I mean, we've got Mexican American War, the Civil War. I mean, it goes all the way. The Vietnam War, that was a big, huge moneymaker. World War One. This is the World War One. I mean, all these wars basically before World War One, there was probably a little bit of incentive to do something, to get something, but it's about property, land, resources. Property, land, resources, which is really sad. American Civil War was, I think, mostly about cotton, from what I'm hearing. But if we go down the road, it becomes more profitable. And we're not just talking, here's the sad fact about this. You're looking at over 20 million people that have died in this nation. So from the 240 something years that we've been around, 220, almost 220 of those years, we've been at war, in some regime change, in some altercation, somewhere, some way across the globe, with about 30 something victimized states, nations, people, families, kids, children, women. I mean, 20 million people, not just our people, everyone. Every people that eat breakfast, people that fucking have lunch and they like to go out and party and have fun and they're with their families. I mean, you've seen the destruction in pictures of what's happened. I mean, in the 70s and the 80s and the early 90s, before 9/11 was created, right? Created, and I'm going to say it again. Look at the videos of Building 7. Or was it 6 or 7? Anyway, and how that came about. It's just fucking insane. And here we go again. So, I mean, and all these people say it, all wars are ultimately based on economics. That's new to silks. All mainstream religions are ultimately based on economics too. Exactly. Follow the money. That's what it says right here. It says follow the money. And this thing I put on my Facebook, right? I can't grab that. There we go. Right? And here it is. I'm just going to say it. The road of blood on these doors that we open for profit. And you have to blame yourself. You have to say, who am I voting for? Am I going to keep voting for Dumbocrats? Am I going to keep voting for Republicans? Because these wars are going to keep coming. I really don't see Tulsi Gabbard stopping this machine. I mean, I'd like to say that it's going to happen, But the people need to rise. The 99%, the planet, we all need to stop these profit wars. They have nothing to do with keeping America safe and taking care of our interests, because our fucking interests are money and profits for Wall Street. It's money and profit for Wall. Enough is a fucking enough, right? Here's the next door we're opening right here, Iran, right? And Smiley Butler said it perfect. It is possible, excuse me, out of my glasses. It is possibly the oldest, easily the most profitable, surely the most vicious. It is the only one international in scope. It is only one which the profits are reckoned in dollars and the losses in lives. A racket is best described, I believe, as something that is not what it seems to be to the majority of the people. Only small inside groups know what this is really about. It is conducted for the benefit of the very few at the expense of the very many. Out of war, a few people make huge fortunes. Major General Smiley Butler, 1935, U.S. Marine Corps, two-time winner, Congressional Medal of Honor. I mean, he was your first whistleblower. He was your first Snowden. He was your first Manning. He was your first WikiLeaks. But they stifled him, and they stifled everybody else pretty damn quickly. I mean, look at all these wars that we've been in. It's all about money. And sadly, everybody's buying it up. And it's starting again because you have right here, I'm gonna navigate this a little faster. Yeah. And then this guy comes on, right? This guy comes on, and then there it is. It's the same fucking thing every time. He's gonna lay it out for us, right? And he's gonna tell you who's at fault.
These unprovoked attacks present a clear threat to international peace and
Oh,
security,
Mike Pompeo, of
a
course.
blatant assault on the freedom of navigation, and an unacceptable campaign of escalating tension by Iran.
By
He said
Iran.
the US wouldn't allow Iran.
Yeah, it's just Iran. They've already made that assumption. They not the assumption. It's I know it's not an assumption. It's not an assumption. They have already created this. They have already manufactured this. Again, there are people. We do not build anything in this country anymore. We outsource. I mean, China, if you've heard of raw materials, and we're talking wood and iron and plastic and certain things, there's raw materials out there, commodities in a sense, and that is being bought up by China at a crazy rate because they know that they're going to be continually making everything, and we're making war. That's how we make money. That's how Wall Street makes money. That's how investors make money. That's how day traders make money. That's how people are making their money. If you see somebody that says, I'm a day trader, $100 says that, okay, I'll bet you $100 that in some way they're investing most or some of their money or a good chunk of it in some company related to Lockheed Martin, Enron, okay, Halliburton, and a few others out there that are ginormous. And these giant companies have these giant contracts to build weapons of fucking mass destruction, and they farm out to get materials and pieces and parts from companies all over the globe, from all over the place. There's a bunch of companies in business parks that you can see that have a lot of military contracts. And a lot of people will invest in these companies. And you don't have to invest immediately into Lockheed Martin. You can invest in a company. Now you're going to start making money. It's just that we're not building anything anymore. We're not. we're not doing anything that's really taking us away from war. And the big six or communications companies out there, Disney, MSNBC, blah 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 blah, all Fox and all these guys, they're in it. They're getting money from their advertisers, and their advertisers are paid for by these big companies. So what's happening is their narrative and these producers that are out there, these producers and these writers, well, the producers basically, the way it works is these producers are told by there's these advertisers that they want to see a little more of this, a little more of that. They want to hear a little more narrative about that. They want to hear a little more narrative, and it's really serious because that's what they want. That's exactly what these giant corporations want. Okay, is they want to make sure that they can hit their bottom line. They want to make sure they can make revenue. They want to make sure they have profit. They want to make sure everybody's investing in them, and they want their ticker numbers to go up. Okay, that and they don't care, and they don't fucking care. The producers, the Rachel Maddow, fucking Sean Hannity. I mean, none of these fucking people give a shit about who we're killing. Okay, we've seen how crazy Mad Cow has been, and many others in regards to Russia, in regards to war, in regards to just pouncing on fucking nations like they're the enemy. But you heard it. I suppose maybe it's a torpedo, right? I mean, a torpedo, quite honestly, that hits a fucking tanker of that size. These torpedoes aren't little torpedoes that used to blow up in the Hunting for Red October. These torpedoes do some serious. They'll take down a ship that size. A torpedo will take down a ship that size. Ask any fucking ordnance person that handles torpedoes. I fucking walked next to these things in the Navy. They're massive. They weigh like fucking a ton or 800 pounds. Or they're gigantic. And the ones that come out of Dallas class fucking U.S. subs or subs that are out there, even subs or whatever that comes from any country, they're not tiny little fucking things. These create giant, massive explosions, and they rip through metal. So some of these ships shouldn't be even fucking in the water. This whole thing just fully reeks of just manufacturing consent for war once again. And here it comes. And it's coming quick. And they're going for it. And they're going to keep piling it on fucking newscast after newscast after newscast. So that was pretty recent. And it's just continuing. I mean, it's sad. So this was published on June 13, 2019 by TRT World, right? But it's just really sad. And they're just, and the way they display it, and if you see it, this is the manufacturing of war. Right here. This is the way it works. Again, it's people have to protest. People have to get out there. You cannot look. Tulsi Gabbard has got the greatest point out there in regards to war. It's bullshit. She just can't. I know for a fact when she leaves her podium or her speeches, she wants to say it's fucking bullshit. I've been there. I've seen it. It's all about money. It's all about contracts. It's all about investors. And she knows it. She wants to come out and say, look, you dumb motherfuckers, stop fucking voting for these warmongers and stop fucking watching Rachel Maddow. I would love to see Tulsi Gabbard freaking go one-on-one with fucking crazy Rachel Maddow. Okay? Or psychotic Stephanie Miller. Or fucking completely nuts Randy Rhoads. They've just all been bought off. Sadly. Okay? She's talking to people like Jimmy Dore. She's talking to people. What's this fucking new chick? Hold on a second. I gotta see this. I've never seen this chick before, and just out of nowhere, she's like talking to Graham Elwood and somebody else, and I'm just like, where the fuck did this chick come from? Hold on, right here, right?
Friends, and this one.
All right, I don't know what's her name. Kim Iverson. How long has she been around? But she's a full-on serious um, supporter of Tulsi. However, she's in a very big newsroom. She's got a crew of people, and I'm not sure if she's not getting. I yeah, pretty face, pretty everything, good voice, very well done. She's got all the tools, everything you need. She's inches away from Fox or seconds away from taking over fucking somebody on CNN, which maybe she wants, which she could fucking easily do. But I gotta say this. Does she bring up the Green Party? Does Kim Iverson talk about Citizens United or McCutcheon versus the FEC? She's got some good points and she's reporting well. That's fine. But I think she needs to hit the nail on the head. And the nail on the head, in my professional opinion, at every turn, at every fucking turn, should be completely and thoroughly taking money out of politics. Okay, completely. So if she's not trying to do that and just reporting this, that, and just kind of getting likes and shit, like most of you are, and not talking about completely removing money out of politics, then what do you think's going to happen? If every and I always end, I got to end this with this because I got to get going. I got some stuff I got to do, but I'll make it simple. Removing the money, the fucking or the control of money on these legislators, these judiciaries, these executives that are now Dumbocrats and Republicans, okay? That vote for war, that vote for big pharma, that vote for big coal, big oil, the communications companies, that could care less about our freedoms, our well-being at all. I mean, our livelihoods have been changed by the greed that have overcome all these fucking Dumbocrats and Republicans, and it's sad. And I'm talking about legislators, judiciaries, and executives. I've always said this. I'm not talking about the people because it's a big monster out there. It's a giant fucking megalithic monster. And this monster, okay, is called mainstream media. It is the fucking thing that instigates war, pins us against each other. I mean, I'm out here in West Virginia and people are so nice to each other. I work with a guy that likes Indiana. He's totally cool. I got my black buddy that I work with. I got this girl, another black friend, and we work together. And I'm like the Polynesian guy, but everybody gets along and we get along with everybody else. Everybody's just trying to. The 99% just wants what I've always said. What they want clean water, clean food, clean air, clean soil. They want a minimum wage that's 17 an hour, or it's 15 is way behind. So Dumbocrats keep fucking fighting for that bullshit. And they want to remove money from politics. They want full, comprehensive, universal health care with no copay, so everybody can be healthier. And especially they want free pre-K to community college and erase the fucking debt that people are under from these predatory fucking college so-called campuses or whatever the fuck they are. And the Green New Deal, of course. And the Green New Deal. All right. And yeah, I left out a few like borders, no walls, equal rights for LGBTQs, cleaner planet, all this stuff, job creation, job guarantee, UBI, and all that. I get it. I get it. There's a lot more, but the way you have to have candidates, and I'm telling you, Kim Iverson. I'm telling you, Kim Iverson, and I'm not telling you. I'm just asking you. If you could get Tulsi to do it more than like 30 seconds regarding Citizens United and McCutcheon versus the FEC and what that does and how money has created these wars. More people are about to die. Okay, more children, more families, more. I mean, if you've seen the wreckage from how we've destroyed these countries, their infrastructures, their buildings, their homes, their libraries, their stores, you know, and then it's just back and forth, and it just we're too smart for war. We're way beyond intelligence when it comes to war. So war is manufactured. We know what it fucking does. We know that it hurts. It causes more pain, and way less. It strips you of joy. Everybody fucking knows that. They do it for profit now. Now it's for a few, just a handful of people that can make giant amounts of money at the cost of lives, at the cost of just pure and utter absolute sadness to the 10th power. I mean, it's just wrong. And they don't fucking care. So you need to get people out. And that's why I like Greens. That's why I think, you know, Greens are all about peace, mending relations with nations. You know, they're not going to just drop the ball and say, hey, come and dunk on me. They're going to do it the right way if they're smart about it. I've got a few out there. Kenneth Mejia, Rodolfo Cortez. I'd like to see Laura Wells do a lot better. Joe Manchin doing a great job. And these are people running for Congress. If you could put one of those in just to wedge in between the Democrats and the Republicans, man, I think things would change. I think that would make a difference. Before I put on my hula skirt, right, my grass skirt, coconut bra, you know, tiki torch, and start storming the halls of Congress, you know, getting some attention. But we got to start doing something now. At least what I'm saying is give a green a chance. And all you greens out there, it should be a right. These are the rights of people. A right to fair politics, a right to a livable pay rate, a right to health care, a right to education, a right to peace. What I'm talking about right now. A right to a job, a right to even UBI too, if needed. A right to energy, a right to solar, wind, rain, whatever you want to do in your house and still be able to use the grid if needed. A right to marriage equality, right? LGBTQ. A right to faster citizenship, building more border processing facilities with intelligent and educated and helpful personnel, right? And a right to marijuana for sure. A right to marijuana for sure. And a clean fucking planet with the Green New Deal, right? Right? Okay, so if you're paying attention, just going over what I just talked about, and it's really simple. Come on, people. We've got to stop this. So everybody start talking about it. Okay? Let's get as many people out there as we can to put this fucking Iran war in the fucking dirt. Stifle it. Put it out. Pour fucking water on it. You know, shoot it with an extinguisher. And everybody needs to be talking about this because they're going after it right now. They want it really bad. People are losing money. People need more money. So they're going, hey, let's start a fucking war. Let's do it with Iran. So it's supposedly a torpedo, but a fucking torpedo would shred those ships. I am telling you right now. Shred them. So this is bullshit. All right? Anyway, thank you all for watching. I don't know where Kim Iverson came from, but hopefully she'll start thinking about what's necessary and talking about Citizens United and McCutcheon versus FEC and the Communications Act and things that could really make a difference in pulling money fully out of politics. If she's not in that realm or that place like most of us are, right? then maybe she's not doing this for the right reasons. Anyway, I just care about everybody. I could care about the cups and the shirts and the super chat. I just want my kids to fucking have a better life, man. I want them to be able to play on the beaches that I did when there was no trash. Now there's trash everywhere. Anyway, I'm not going to keep going. Anyway, thank you. Mahalo nui loha for coming on tonight, guys, if you are. And share this video if you can. It's really important that we get the word out and stifle fucking this war now. Stifle it before they fucking start pushing it on everyone. And manufacture consent. And manufacture the consent, which we need to stop now. Because they're going after it right now. Aloha. Thank you, guys.